The Property Lane.
Welcome to the Property Lane, where it's everything real estate. Today on the show with me, I have very beautiful, intelligent, highly educated ladies that are in the real estate business. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me our first guest tonight, Mrs. Emily Rukundo. Please say hi to the guest.
Hello, Emily is my name. I work with BuildNet. We construct and sell apartments.
Yes, and our other guest tonight is into construction, project design and management. She's an architect, she's an agent, she's, I think, everything real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me architect Claire Ruheza.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here. I work with Mato Concepts and Properties,
Yes.
and I also work with Southgate Consulting. Thank you.
Yes, Claire, tell us about what you do, your work on a daily.
Okay. I am an architect, a graduate architect, so to speak, and I have been in the field of real estate, doing design, project management, supervision, as well as selling the properties. So I started out my career in 2002, straight out of university, and went to work for Knight Frank. And that is where I picked up the love and the interest in the real estate business. And over the years, I have worked for so many organizations in and around the real estate market. And currently, I've partnered with 3 other people, and we are doing what typically people call real estate, which is agency work, property and facilities management, and advisory. But our firm is really focused on advisory. So we want to be the firm that people know for research and that kind of work, helping clients on a day-to-day basis make decisions in real estate that matter. So what does a typical day look like for me? It means I'm going to be engaging with clients. It means I'm going to be doing design work as part of my architectural practice. It means I'm going to be supervising on sites, construction work. And it also means that I'm going to be, because I also do a bit of mentorship of young people, it means I'm going to have evenings where I'm going to be talking to people.
Okay.
So there's no one day that is the same, but it revolves around that. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, it's quite a mountain. How do you handle that as a lady?
First of all, even making the decision to go into architecture was a big one. Because at that time I made up my mind, that was in my senior 3. I had just had a lady talk about, it was a lady actually who was studying architecture at the university. And I overheard a conversation. And I asked myself, who are architects? What, you know? And so I went and did a bit of research and decided I would go into architecture. But even then, I discovered that the great architects of the time who were really known were men. And so I come home and tell my parents that I want to go into architecture, and they didn't even have an idea what that was. And so some of the challenges were, first of all, breaking the stereotypes around women in industries, construction industry, and real estate as a whole was a big one. Because I was an A student, and my parents, I think, had hoped that I would be a doctor or something
Or a
like
lawyer.
that. Not a lawyer. My parents are scientists, so they had thought I would go into medicine or engineering. But then here I was saying I wanted to go into architecture. Engineering was actually a second option. But so some of the challenges have really been around the stereotypes. Just imagining that women cannot manage in an industry like that, because typically it's male dominated. When you're dealing with buildings, people see buildings as big, you know, as large. When you're dealing with the kind of money that is in real estate, you know, people are a bit weary. They are wondering, will this girl, because even up to this, even up to my age now, there are men who still refer to me as this girl. Yeah, but nonetheless, for me, the interest was always there, so the challenges were not going to stand in the way of my doing what I thought was important. Yeah.
Okay, we'll be coming back to you, Claire, and now to you, Emily. What was the motivation to join agency?
Basically, I work with BuildNet, and it's a real estate Okay, we develop, we construct, and I'm part of that.
Okay.
So what motivated me was the deficit that we have in Uganda. So I wanted to be a part of a company that actually fills that gap.
And deficit in
housing.
Oh,
in housing, yes. So I wanted to be a part of that, the company that helps in filling that gap. Yes.
Wow, these are all very noble causes, noble paths. I personally also, for me, it's the way we have similar buildings everywhere, and the architecture. Every time I meet an architect, I'm like, why? But anyway, it was the push to change the skyline of the city, but also to grow the country. You know, it is through real estate that we can be seen as growing even to a first world nation. And so when we entered agency, it was a man's world. Everyone was looking at it as a man's world, like you're going to run up and down the buildings. And so it's amazing when you mention you were trained under Judy. Yeah, she was also an inspiration for me when I saw how she runs Knight Frank in a very competitive environment, and she has not given up. Way back for over, I think now 20 years, she still keeps going. But Claire, do you go to the field? Do you put on the boots and the helmets and go to the field?
Yes, like I said, part of my work involves supervising construction projects. And if you are an architect, you don't just stop at design. You also go and supervise to make sure that what you have designed comes to life. And for me, actually, that was the big motivator, that I would get to do the kind of things that would last forever. You know?
Okay.
I mean, because we have buildings here that have been here for hundreds of years. If you see some of the cathedrals in Europe, and to know that you were associated with projects like that is a big one. All other sectors that we hear about, they do things. I mean, if you're in the services sector, nobody will see what you do. You may do a lot, but it's not as visible as construction. So yes, I do go to site very often. Actually, I think every week I am supervising at least 2 or 3 sites. Yeah.
Wow. What challenges do you face, Emily, in doing your work as a lady, or it doesn't pop up?
Challenges are there. Personally, my job is to be in the field. I'm in the field, I'm meeting clients and meeting different people, different clients with different interests. So you meet a gentleman, he's interested, he'll actually book, but when the wife comes, she'll have a different opinion, and you'll find there's a mismatch in the deal. So until they're both on the same line, it's actually not a deal close.
But I don't see that as a lady's challenge, because well, it's kind of the way real estate is. Real estate is mostly it's the woman who makes the home, right? And I think that's where we will see that those who come to buy want the wife to come. But I'm asking, where you go to negotiate as a woman and you find a hiccup because you are a lady. Do you find that in the field?
Yeah. That's actually there. There's that challenge. Somewhere, someone will think there's someone else who's supposed to make a decision, because this is big money we're talking about. So they look at me and they'll assume there's someone up there who's supposed to make the final decision.
And how do you handle that?
It's something that I have come to find peace with. Yeah, because when someone insists, I want to, for example, speak to the MD, I'm the agent out there, and if they want to speak to the MD, I'll find a way of connecting them to the MD, and we find a way of closing the deal.
Okay, Claire, how would you handle that? I know you've been in agency as well. Did you meet any challenges where they're like, where is the big man? Where is the boss?
Yes, I did, because straight out of university, my first job was in agency. So I was selling property. And like you said, a lot of the times, the first impression, especially for men, is that you're not the one with the final decision. But again, there's the uniqueness of the fact that when you're selling property, you're often not the last one, because the landlord has a say unless it's your property.
Yeah.
So in my case, being the agent, I didn't find that in any way as a problem, because I always knew I was working on behalf of someone else, a landlord, and so on and so forth. But I think that the real issue here that you're probably trying to highlight is the fact that many times in the kind of work we do, people assume the fact that you are a woman, that there will be someone else who has a higher authority. And how I have addressed that in situations that I have dealt with is to come armed with sufficient information. So you speak as one who has the mandate and the authority to make that decision. And sometimes it involves re-educating, and helping someone to see things a certain way. So when they ask, I want to see the manager, and you tell them, I'm the manager. So, and you tell them, I don't want you to worry. You just ask. So when you speak from a place of confidence and you have the right information, then slowly you win them over. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. We will be back. We are taking a very brief break. And don't forget, we are here at Kabira Country Club. There are very good places for your kids to come and play. There's a swimming pool. There are places for halls for conferences and meetings. If you want to hold your wedding, if you have guests flying in and you want them to sleep in an exquisite and calm and peaceful environment, Kabira Country Club is a place for you. See you shortly. Yes, welcome back to the Property Lane. Today we are talking about women in real estate. Like I said before, it has been known as a man's world, but we are seeing more and more ladies join the field. And as we come back, we would like to share with you, what can practitioners do to encourage more women into this sector? Over to you, Claire.
Thank you, Kathy. I think one of the things that they are doing, we have, first of all, the practitioners are so many because the real estate industry is very wide. When we think of real estate, we have to think of everything that encompasses the whole development cycle. So we have on one end the financiers, the bankers. We have the people who do the design work, which is the engineers and the architects. We have the surveyors, the people who value the property, the people who assess the land. We have practitioners like lawyers who are focused on just construction law, We have people who are involved in the maintenance of these buildings, and those are the facilities managers. So there's a whole plethora of different professions that people can tap into in the real estate. I would really encourage people, the practitioners who are there, they also have associations that are trying to encourage women. We have women in architecture, we have women in engineering, we have all other areas where they are trying to focus really on getting young girls to get into the industry. But I would also encourage women from a different angle, young girls. When I was just at university, I was lucky. One of my mentors was my father, and he loved buying land and investing in the real estate sector like that. And it's one of the things I would really encourage young women to get into. Buy land, study the courses, but don't remain just a professional. it's businessmen who own most of the real estate we see on the market.
Yeah.
So it's one thing for me to be an architect or to be an engineer or a surveyor, but when you don't really have a piece of the pie, the real estate sector and industry together contribute about 27% of our GDP. That is really, really huge.
That's
and this
huge.
is 2021. So if you want to create wealth, I would encourage the young girls to not only get into the professions, but also to start really putting their money and their investment where it counts. So for me, that's what I would say.
Yeah, and the young woman today does not just have to look pretty. Today we have young women who have their money, who are intelligent, who are hardworking, and it should not be looked at like a man's world, like you've said. Even for you, Emily, what have you benefited from doing agency and from being in real estate that you think other young ladies out there could?
Well, I would say it's a very good investment. It's a good investment, especially when you understand it well, because a person like me in the area where we are developing, if, for example, you're buying off plan, you're buying at a cheaper price compared to someone who is buying something that is already complete. So I would encourage young women out there to save your money and invest in real estate.
And buy an apartment. Yeah, if you can't afford maybe to go buy, the only way, Claire, to own land in Kampala is if you're like 30 kilometers away, if you're not a bush. But if you want to live within the city, you can get an apartment in one of these affordable housings that are coming up with the affordable developers, as low as 100 or as low as 90 for some of the one bedrooms and studio apartments. You start investing little by little, even as a lady, and with time you have rentals, you have Airbnb that you're earning money from. But also, like Claire was saying, even in area we have the Women Council, where we have women, and I think, Claire, you're one of them, where we have women in real estate that meet and discuss real estate issues, discuss how to develop themselves and how to grow, not just themselves as women. You know that when women start to talk women, then they start to break away from homes. Then they think being emancipated and being with money means you're going to be rebellious at home, or you're going to end up being a single mother or a single woman. Claire, are you married?
Yes, I am.
And how has it worked for you?
I've been married. This year I'll be 20 years in marriage.
Oh.
So I would like to thank my husband, Daniel, for a great marriage. Yeah. It has worked well. We are partners. We invest together. And he's given me the liberty to be more at the forefront when it comes to investment in real estate, because he knows I'm the one who understands the market better. I remember when we went on our honeymoon, I had a list of things I wanted us to discuss on the very first day we sat down. And one of the things was, when are we buying land? And from that time till today, my husband and I have been buying property together. So we work as partners, as I have said. And I don't think it means that you cannot work, together. So for me, I think it's very important that is really brought out. That women can partner with their husbands, they can partner with other people, and be able to acquire property.
Yeah. Emily, you were saying something. Yes.
So I was,
on that same topic.
Yes, I was saying, nowadays, women are not women of those days where you would find a woman home taking care of children and that's all they can do. So men today respect women who can think, women who can bring ideas on the table, women who can say, let's do this.
And I don't think it's nowadays. I think it is from way back. still women were doing, I don't know where the young ladies get this notion of you have to sit back and be taken care of and wait for everything to be laid on your lap. Because even when I look at in the Bible, in Proverbs, they talk of the virtuous woman who wakes up and goes and identifies a piece of land.
She considers a field and buys it. Yes.
Exactly.
And that for me has always been my mantra. You know?
And that is real estate. That is women in real estate. She considers a field and buys it. She ensures the house is well taken care of, that everyone has covering in winter, you know. And yeah, that's one thing I wanted us to bring out clearly, that to be a woman, it doesn't mean you sit back and be lazy. No, you are a helper. So I like what you just told us. Like, sit with your husband and draw out. Even in real estate, very few men buy real estate, like we pointed out, alone. They will go pick their wives. Or even if it's the wife that has come, they'll be like, let my husband come and see, then we will make a decision. So as we come to the end of the show, one thing I want to, from all of us, is to inspire the young mothers out there. There are teenagers who are applying, who are in their Form 6 and trying to apply for college. There are fathers who are wondering, what else can, you know, my kids do? These girls, can they just go and do beauty and modeling? Not that it's bad, but we are saying, come to real estate. There's a variety of things you can do as a woman. We were talking earlier with the ladies here, and we were saying real estate is a play field for women. When we talk interior decor, when we talk, you talked of interior designing. When we are even coming up with the building, the design of the building, of how it's going to look like, how many bedrooms, that is still a woman involved. So as we come to the end of the show, what would you like to tell the young ladies out there?
Real estate is a good field. I actually personally work with students in college.
Okay.
MOOC has courses of real estate. They study and then they come to us. They want to actually do the real thing. So it's not about being a lawyer, if you want to be, that's okay. I don't discourage you being a doctor, but if you have the passion of being in real estate, there's very many courses out there that you can do. There are very many certificates you can do. You don't even need a certificate to start. You don't need. So I encourage young ladies out there to rise up. It's not about men in real estate. You can also do it as a woman.
Okay, you don't need a certificate, but I think you need a mentor. So yeah, they can come and join the associations as we've spoken about before, and also work under people like you, work under mentors who can show them the way. You know, for every field, you need someone to hold your hand. Otherwise, you end up making many grave mistakes. Some of them you may not recover. Claire, what do you have to say to the ladies out there who want to join real estate but are scared? They think it's a man's world. They think that there's falling debris. And they don't want to leave out their stilettos. And I see you also in stilettos.
Yeah, I actually go to site in my heels sometimes. Then I put them in the car and wear my gumboots. But what I would tell young ladies out there, women, is to think investment, you know, and to start as soon as yesterday if they can. Because it's one thing to sit back and allow other people to thrive in an industry that, you know, is one of the largest industries in the country and in the world. So my encouragement would be, one, study within the sector. Come, there's so much you can do. And even if you've already picked up a profession along the way, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're, you know, the ones that look like they're on the fringe, you can actually get into the business. but you can come and do architecture, engineering, surveying, like I said, law, banking, all of those are part of the industry in one form or another. But most importantly, I would encourage young women to invest in real estate, you know. Put it on your list every year to buy a piece of land, to start building. Do the things that really challenge you, you know. To build something, it takes courage, but you can do it. Let us not imagine that these are the things that are done by superhuman beings. They are people with flesh and bones like us. So women, get out there, and sometimes it means you may have to partner with other people, but make it your life's dream to build something. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, our dear viewers. Please remember to send your comments, to send your opinions, your suggestions on any of the topics that are running on Property Lane every Saturday. From the guests and myself tonight, see you next time.